April the 26th, 2010 Public Safety Committee to order. Now I entertain a motion for the minutes of last month
Oh, in the special meeting.
and the special call meeting as well.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Excuse me. No, frog in the throat. All right, first on the agenda be the Laverne Rescue Squad. I think you've got that
Good
in front of you.
evening. You should have your reports in front of you, somewhere in the stack. We've got January, February, March, and a quarterly report. Breaks down all of our calls for the quarter. And on the back page of it, it shows a picture of our new rescue truck that we've had remounted. And we're just breaking in the mileage right now, and then we'll be putting it on the road.
Pretty truck.
What is that, 550? On the 62 standby calls, what are they? Standbys for? What is it?
You're on
On the
the
front
January.
page? Yeah.
Right before category 2. Says other 62 standby.
Oh, that's our standbys there at the building. Every ship, we're counting as a standby. Somebody's there at the building. Okay.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, just on the fundraiser.
Okay.
What is this? This is April, so you had them January, February, and March.
Correct.
How much?
Probably about $1,200 to $1,500. This last ham breakfast, it was probably the worst one we've had all season.
Nice weather outside.
Right. Sunny weather, and nobody wants country ham when it's that nice.
And the next one's,
Old Timers Day, it'll be September the 20th, I do believe.
at the Laverne Rescue Squad on
At
Gamble
Laverne
Lane
Rescue.
off the old highway in
Correct.
in Laverne. Okay.
Correct. And hopefully I'll be up here before then, at least once.
How many members you have over there?
I think there's about 35
35?
on roster.
How many are active?
Your dirty dozen.
It already does.
Right.
Anybody else?
Still a lot of time. People don't realize the time that volunteers
A whole
put
lot
into
of
this.
time.
Well, if you just took 30 people and the hours you get there, it'd be 500 hours apiece. Not many people will give 500 hours to anybody
it's-
in a
it's
3-month
difficult.
period.
That's exactly right.
But I appreciate your work. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Move to approve the report.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ambulance services report.
How you doing?
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mark. Ready whenever you are.
Made 1,680 calls, average response time was 7.6 minutes. We had 35 coroner's calls. Billed to $1,006,878. Collected $486,538. It puts us on a projection of $5,249,000, which is a little bit better than we thought we were. We had $369,924 insurance write-offs, $112,790 from collection agency, and $4,442 on county type matters. We had our transport team shut down for 3 shifts this month. And we had one station that had to be a first responder station for one shift. Mileage and the cost per mile is at the bottom of the page. As I told the mayor earlier, next month will be significantly different than that. We had a terrible month this month so far with our mechanical issues. We have a total of 34,884 miles, and we made 322 calls out of zone.
Mike, is that due to high mileage
I'm
ambulances?
sure it is, our fleet's aging. We have a bid opening, I
Yeah.
believe Thursday.
What is the magic figure that's put up with the state on the mileage on the ambulances?
It's 175,000, that's about the most you can expect. You have to have them, mechanical inspections done on them prior to that, but
Mhm.
by the time you get that much mileage on them, they're pretty well worn out. For us, now, we continue to use those in other parts of the county. As a matter of fact, we got one request from emergency management today for one of the ones we may be taking out of service.
When, the high mileage ones, do you use them when you go to, say, cover at football games, this type thing?
They're primarily backup units. And the backup units are what we use to cover special events. There's several in-services and training on the next page. As you can see, Terry Cunningham does primarily most of our React things, was very busy this month. And we did quite a bit of medical coverage for various activities throughout the county. And the sort team training is there at the bottom. Mileage by stations, along with the response times and so forth, listed on the next page. We made 1,584 calls, 2 out-of-county calls, which are basically us responding to accidents right across the county line, and not really knowing which county they were in until we got there. 30 transport admission transfers, and they also made 59 911 calls, a grand total of 1,680. Next page is a breakdown of calls by commissioners' districts. Transport team calls primarily came from the Middle Tennessee Medical Center. We had 5 from Stonecrest and 1 from the VA Medical Center and 1 from VA Triage. Following page is the same information except for year to date. The first thank you letter that we have is from one of our own employees. The second one was actually from a patient that we have transported multiple times, and that's why all the different ones are listed on there.
Any questions on the report?
Motion to approve.
approve the report. Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. You got some budget amendments.
Got several, they're not as complicated as they look like. We would like to transfer $5,000 from our testing line item to other contracted services because the state EMS licensure went up, almost tripled. But they didn't do that until after the budget was approved last year, so we weren't prepared for that. So that's what that's about. We'd like to transfer $5,500 from communications to postage. It seems like we always stay in trouble on postage, but we also had a rate increase this year, if you recall. And then the final one on that page is transfer $5,000 from communications to office equipment. The reason we want to do that is the ambulance service was sort of a guinea pig for the county on some paperless type scanning, so the record keeping. And we were having some difficulty with that, so we had the people from OIT as well as some of the people that they had contracted with came out. And the sole problem was not in the fact that we were using our copy machine to scan with, but they said that that would soon wear out a $15,000 copy machine, and it would be better if we had a machine that could just sit there and do it for 24 hours, such as a scanner that was designed for that. And there's one of those on the state bid list that we can buy for $5,000. That's that page. Wanna take them all together?
Yeah, let's take them all.
The next page is just the same thing that you're kind of used to seeing now, where we charge for event coverage, and we've received paychecks for that, and we'd like to put it back into items where it was spent.
I have a question, Mike, on the communication part, what is that communication line item do?
That particular one is cell phones,
Oh, okay.
and we were able to, I don't know if you remember, we negotiated a different contract last year,
All right.
so we were able to save some money.
You've heard the request, what's the will of the committee?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second, our discussion.
Real quick, Mike, this licensure fee increased from 2,400 to 6,750. What reason did they give you for this?
Well, they didn't give any reason.
They want money.
What was it? How long had it been before when it increased to 2,450? Do you remember?
It's been several years. I don't remember exactly, so I can't give you an intelligent answer on it, but I know it's been several years since they increased it, but when they increased it, they made up for lost time.
Yeah.
They don't give you no reason, though.
No, it's a state.
That's sad. I mean, what did we see, Mayor, what did we see here? Was it 2 months ago we had a big increase like this on, whose department was it? It was some kind of a license or something. Do you remember?
I don't remember. I know what Mike's talking about, because we've had it ourselves. The state
That's
EMS
almost quadruple.
The state EMS board had a significant increase in their fees on EMT fees, paramedic fees, first responders.
Everybody's licensure fees.
Yeah. That's,
So all the counties just kind of take it?
yeah, well, on that there, there's nothing you can do about it.
That's just, I mean, I don't know. That's quadruple. I mean, that's almost quadruple the increase in this stuff.
Anybody else? Hearing none, call roll.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner Daniel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Yes.
Commissioner Pease?
Yes.
Commissioner Shafer?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparks?
Yes.
Commissioner Farley?
Yes. Thank you.
Correct.
Correctional Work Center report.
That are appointed up there. Looks like that mental evaluations for teens, they just dumped that on the counties this year.
See, people didn't know.
How you doing? Doing good.
About it.
I guess this is your first meeting as the superintendent.
Yes, sir. And the mayor had to go get it.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Get ready whenever you are.
Pretty much, we started picking up on the roads again, as you can probably see. Weather's getting better, all our vehicles are running, so that's online. Our programs are going great. We're looking for more grants to start new programs. Let's see, visitations, we started doing that on weekends, so that should give these inmates, families more opportunity to come in and see them, so that's good. Good for their morale. We're about to start a garden beautification thing on the ground, so give female inmates something to do, build up their self-esteem and teach them something with their hands, so that's gonna be a good project right there. The Ag Center is gonna help us with that, so that's gonna be good.
Two questions on your GEDs. Let's see. Are those, is that completing the GED, or those that are just taking the classes while they're in there?
Right, we have classes every day, but we just had our first testing done at the facility ever last Thursday, I believe. We got certified to actually have the test there, and we had a total of, I think, 16 inmates taking it, so it was a really good experience, and it went great, so that program is really on track.
Let's see, you must have had were you preaching last month at the religious services? It looks like there's the best month.
Well,
Yeah.
we just, we have a lot more door openings to a lot of churches, and I think the inmates are being really receptive to it, so it's been going good. The faith-based programs are really taking off, and we aim at doing a lot more different things with that.
Anybody else? If there's no questions, I entertain a motion on the report.
So moved.
Got a motion, to have a second, and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Slade, let me ask real quick. Some of the programs you've got here, is there anything that you see that we as a committee or commission can do to help you out there, or anything else that can be done that we're not already doing?
If you can get more private sector businesses to come in and do a little seminar, that'd be great for the inmates and the staff, like
For example?
on banking, real estate, people like that, medical field, just come in and do a little class, different things that, get them engaged. And I mean, their short time is, so they'll be going back into society, so it'll be good for them to keep in tune with.
So what programs does Exchange Club put on?
Well, right now, the biggest thing they do is the parenting program, and they're looking to do some other things, more life skills, more. I know one thing, the United Way, which is, I guess, it's an umbrella for that exchange, is to do a program and teach them how to do resumes for jobs.
Yeah.
So we just, like I said, if there's anything y'all can do with that, that'd be great if you can get some people to come in just to do guest speaking and stuff like that.
Mayor, do you have any ideas, how they could communicate to him as far as getting some of this?
Not really in specific, but I'm sure we can, with his leadership here, things are already happening.
I appreciate the good job you're doing out there.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheriff Department report. How you doing?
Good evening.
Okay, we have several budget amendments. The first one is we would like to recognize revenue from our SCAP grant for $18,825. Want to apply that towards repair and maintenance in the building. Would you like for me to take all of them?
Yeah, that'd be all right.
The second amendment is within our budget, we would like to move $3,600 out of maintenance agreements in the detention side and put it in custodial supplies, and $2,000 in repair and maintenance of equipment. The third transfer, we would like to remove $24,000 from utilities and put $15,000 into building improvements and $9,000 into prisoner transport, which is really extraditions. And the fourth amendment, we'd like to move $400 in our grant from the travel account to the other expense, so we may buy some workbooks.
You've heard the request. What's the will of the committee?
Move to approve.
Got a motion and a second. All right, discussion. Hearing or seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner Daniel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Yes.
Commissioner Key?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Stark?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes. That's the report.
Yes, sir.
I guess everything pretty much in line except what we just took care of.
Yes, sir. We may be back up here next month and we'll do some last minute budget amendments, but so far everything looks good.
All right. Any questions on the report? Hearing none. All in favor, I need a motion.
Motion approved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Have a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank y'all.
Thank you. See y'all tonight. Okay, good. Is that what she's talking about?
Emergency management. And you got the report in front of you. Whenever y'all are.
Well, we're happy to say that we dodged a bullet Saturday. There's not a whole lot special on this month's report. However, I want to bring your attention to a couple of things. There was twice in this report period that we partnered with Channel 5 and Kroger's and Murfreesboro Fire and all, and we went out and helped program weather alert radios for the public as they bought them. Good PR, and I believe the one we did in Murfreesboro, we sold over 420 radios that were all programmed on. So it was a pretty exciting night.
I heard that was, I don't know if it's a record, but I heard it was.
They said it was.
It was?
Yes, sir. They said that was the most that they had ever done. And I said, that's pretty good. And then the Channel 4 had their Surviving the Storm at Lighthouse Baptist Church, and we went out there and also programmed radios and some handouts on storm information and all as well. And so on, the general public really appreciated that, and I think we made some good contacts, and people are aware that their county is there to support them and trying to assist them in any way that they can. We have started a process of taking pictorials at some of these major scenes that we have now, and it's working out pretty good. It kind of helps explain things. I did not put pictures with your reports this time, but if you want them in the future, we will. I wanted to show you, like, we had an illegal burn, tires, shingles, and so it helps document just what we're talking about and how bad it is. In this particular case, the Sheriff's Office issued a citation to them on that, and as well as when we go out and we have incidents on the interstate, we're able to show why the blockage is, etc. And this is one that Larry went out on, and I-24, where this paper hauling semi rolled over and tied up the interstate for quite a few hours.
About 3 hours, keeps crossways the interstate.
So we feel that these pictorials are going to make things a little bit better and explaining on some of these things, as well as the records keeping on them. We're also working towards, and very soon we'll be doing 2 separate reports totally. Larry on the fire and all will be totally separate from the EMA on the fire reports and everything. As you all have requested to be separate, we're just about ready to that point to make all that happen.
Any questions? Hearing or seeing none. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the report.
Motion and a second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
On the fire report there, the only thing I wanted to bring out is we did graduate 25 students from the rookie class, the 64-hour class, although we did provided 80 hours of training. And I've been teaching quite a few SIDS and domestic violence classes because these are part of the requirements to get their state certifications. And one of the good things about that is that a lot of the county firefighters that are going through the basics and getting their training, they're also going after their state certification. And that really says a lot about the volunteers. There are a lot of the young guys are really committed to getting this training and also being state certified. So we're doing everything we can to make sure they meet those standards.
Roger, let me ask, is Laverne trying to, they're planning on putting in a tornado siren system. Do you know how that's coming along?
They are planning, working on doing that. I have not been notified that they have bottomed yet to do that, but they had a grant for part of that.
I did. How much is 50, 60,000 to do something like that? Do you know?
Well, I had a study done for this whole county to include each one of the municipalities, and we're looking at multi-millions for everything.
Countywide, yeah.
Countywide into each city. It all depends, and sirens are basically outdoor warning devices for parks, recreational areas, but not for alerting you inside a home.
Yeah.
So for the purpose of a siren, if they only put them up in their recreational areas, you're probably looking at that 50, 60,000.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right,
And then there's that annual maintenance after that, too.
Yes, sir. All right.
Of course, you looked at the water report and then the individual training hours for each department. And then, sad to say, we had a RIT, which is a Rapid Intervention Team training at Kittrell, and we have to have at least 12 experienced firefighters for the class, but we only got 10, so my instructor canceled the class. And what we're trying to do, on these weekends, we're trying to offer a higher level of training because most of them do the basic training in-house. Once they get the basic 64-hour firefighting, they pretty much continue that training in their station. So what we're trying to do is provide a higher level training. And what this RIT team would do would be able to go into an emergency situation if you had firefighters down and be able to extricate them out of that structure. So hopefully we can get enough people interested to take that class. Other than that, that's all I've got.
Any questions on the fire coordinator report? Entertain a motion on the fire coordinator report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Anything else? Thanks, y'all. Okay. Paul's report. Ready whenever you are.
Nothing out of the ordinary on the monthly report as far as the intake. 647 total, 191 adoptions, 50 pets reclaimed by their owner, 370 euthanized. The adoption reclaim rate for March was 37%, the euthanasia rate of 57%. A little over 2,500 people visit the shelter in March. On the activities, there's a total of 1,338 requests for service. We have the mileage breakdown of where those calls originated from. On the year-to-date, since July 1, our total intake has been 6,337. We've had 1,544 adoptions, 429 pets reclaimed, 4,028 euthanized. Adoption reclaim rate for fiscal is 31% with a euthanasia rate of 63%. Just under 20,000 people have visited the shelter since July 1st. On the activities, we've had 12,495 requests for service. And then the breakdown of where those calls originated from. On the bite report, did have some strange things in March on that. We had a total of 36 bites reported. 12 of those animals were tested. There were 2 that came back as unsatisfactory results. And that was a squirrel where someone's dog had attacked it and he was trying to save the squirrel and was bitten, but there was too much trauma for the specimen to be a satisfactory result. And then we also had a possum that someone had caught in their own trap and decided to try to remove it from the trap and managed to get bit. And when they were bitten, they decided the only way they knew to get it to let go was to hit it in the head, which damaged the brain, which is what we needed for the test results. And then the last one was the other rabies exposures. We had 8 reported, 8 tested, and again, was not positive, came back as unsatisfactory results due to being shot in the head.
Well, usually when that happens, like these people end up having to take the shots.
It is recommended that they do. On the bites, neither of those people, I believe, were interested in doing that. I know the health department was following up with them. On the skunk, it was not a bite. It was just an animal that was not behaving, so we didn't really have any contact on it. Once they get those type results back, we notify the reporters of what the test result was on the specimen they've submitted, and the health department usually takes over if there's any type of human contact as far as recommending what type of actions they should proceed with.
Any questions for Tracy?
Tracy, on your amount of visitors here, before the new center was built, how much traffic would you get out there?
Nowhere near what we're getting now. We didn't keep numbers at that time, so I really couldn't get inaccurate, but being it was about 5 times smaller and the location was not quite as
2,500 people, that seems like pretty good traffic, isn't it?
It's pretty hectic sometimes.
I bet.
You barely had enough room for the employees out there to let alone somebody. And the old building.
The old, yeah.
Anybody else?
I'd just like to pass on something. Up near where I live, there was a stray dog around, and the guy called me about it and told him to call out to the shelter when they brought him a trap, because it came out one time, and obviously the dog was not around when it came. So they brought the trap worked, they
Good deal.
took the dog away, and it was, he was just a nuisance, is I guess the best way you put it for it, but it was, and I think somebody just dropped it out where we live. We live out near the lake and all, so that was it. But he was pleased that it worked like it's advertised, okay?
Good, that's what I like to hear.
Anybody else? If there's no other questions, I entertain a motion on her report.
Motion to approve the report.
And is there a second? And a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Drug court report. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing good.
Allergies don't kill me. But everybody has that problem, don't they? What else is new?
Yeah.
Even that rain didn't help a whole lot. I made 10 copies. That should have been enough, I think. No?
You good?
Oh, nope, that's fine. But you can have mine.
We got some.
You can see our numbers have gone up as usual, but we'll be having a graduation next month, so they'll go back down. But we have 8 candidates right now for an adult drug court graduation, which will be May 20th, Thursday evening, here in the historic courtroom at 6 o'clock. And as usual, y'all will get an invitation, I'm sure. So, and the DUI court is going along very well as also, and we're having another graduation in June for them.
Any questions for Mary?
Mary, what do you think your success rate is at this, as far as, say, 2 or 3 years?
What do you call success?
As far as recidivism rate, I guess you'd say.
Our recidivism rate, well, actually, we're having an evaluation done right now to determine that. But just based on raw numbers of who was arrested after they graduated, it's between 15 and 30%. And I say 15 and 30 because about half of those are license problems, that people don't have their license, or getting caught with a revoked license or driving unsuspended.
You're basing that on a year? On 1 year?
We do 1 year and 2 years.
Okay.
After graduation. So, and I think as our numbers have increased, I think it's gone down. I'll be really curious to see what he comes up with this evaluation. And what he's doing is he's using people that applied for drug court and were eligible for drug court, but for some reason they didn't come into drug court. Either the judge decided not to let them or they opted out. And then he's comparing those people, with the people that actually came in and completed the program. So both populations would have been eligible for drug court.
Who's doing the evaluation?
It's a private firm out of Colorado that I've been aware of for years. They do a lot of drug court work.
Okay.
So.
What time did you say the graduation was going to be?
6 o'clock, and I know you'll be there, Mr. Daniels. You are wonderful about that. And I'm sure the mayor will be there with all the certificates.
Yes, but tell me when.
I will do that.
Anybody else?
On that evaluation that you're doing, one thing I'd like to see is we can look at how many people that we've actually pulled out of the system. And if we compare that to what it actually costs to incarcerate those people, I'd like to see the cost difference between what your program's doing. I know Mr. Miller at one time had said that he had proposed a program that we didn't implement, but 13 people would have paid for the program that he was looking at that time, basically a break even. I know we've had a lot more than that go through, and I don't think this program's actually as costly as what he was submitting to us. But I would be curious to see if they can put some figures on what our programs actually cost the taxpayers here versus what it's saving us, keeping those people out of our judicial and not just in the jail, but the judicial system too, because there's costs there.
Right. Unfortunately, that was going to be the second year of this grant, and we had to cancel that part of the grant in order to keep some of my employees from being laid off. So I have been in discussion with the social work department over at MTSU, and I've sent him a lot of information on cost-benefit analysis. It's Dr. Lancaster, and he is very, very interested in doing this with some of his students. So we're still hoping that we'll be able to do it, just not through this particular company. But using the figures that he gives us, apparently what he's doing this first year is what he was going to use to determine the cost the second year. So this is kind of the baseline for the cost-benefit analysis. So I think it'll all come out.
Well, we get a head count on days, we can, I can add 2 and 2. So.
Right, exactly. So, but then there's all the added cost of, you know, paying child support,
right,
and those types of things.
We
yeah.
pick up.
Question. The difference between the adult drug court and the DUI court, is it more than just getting caught, or both have people that got caught in it?
Exactly. Yeah, they've both been caught.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of difference. With the DUI program, it's mostly alcoholics. They're mostly older. They have jobs. They have families. They're more mature. But they probably have a much more serious problem than the drug court participants do. The drug court participants tend to be younger and not have families, not be employed. They tend to have a lot more problems than the DUI people. They come from much more dysfunctional families. They seem to have fewer life skills than the DUI people do. I mean, I've got people in the DUI court that, and I don't mean to scare anybody because these people are doing extremely well, but they're working in laboratories around town, taking your blood and doing tests on them. We have people that are running food courts that are management in various places. I really hate to name some names of places people work because I know that, yeah, I'm not going to. But anyway, I mean, the DUI people are very, very responsible, good jobs. So, and what do they say? Therefore, but the grace of God go I. I mean, they say that usually you've been drinking and driving 100 times before you even get caught. So, you know, all of us have been stupid at one time or another. Maybe. I don't know. Nobody's going to admit it tonight, are they?
Mary, how much interaction, we got this paperwork from this CAD Corps, how much interaction do you have with this group?
I'm very involved in CAD Corps. They're a wonderful organization. I've been involved since almost the beginning. And I helped them write the drug-free grant that they got 5 years ago, I think. They've worked on their budgets, they've worked on policies and procedures for them.
You serve on that committee?
I'm not on their board, but I'm definitely a coalition member. So we just got finished going through a process for a reentry grant for out of the jail that they applied for, or are applying for in June, I guess. So yes, I'm very active.
Well, when you see the drug problem that I think it's getting worse. I mean, personally, would you say it's getting worse or it's getting better?
I think it gets different. Statistics show that kids are more aware of what they're getting into. Kids are not smoking as much cigarettes because the cigarette ads really did work, so that's a good thing. Parents still have the idea that since alcohol is legal, it's okay to have parties in their home and invite the kids over as long as they're drinking at home, it's safe. That's one thing actually that is one of CAD Corps' goals is to work on the social norms, because the social norms are what we're up against. These are, family people who think it's okay to drink at home. Maybe they were brought up that way too, I don't know. But with addiction, you never know who that one person's going to be that goes too far with it, so it's dangerous anyway because they're underage and it's illegal and you're contributing to a minor, but you know, I don't want to be the parent that gives my kid a drink and then he ends up being an alcoholic. You know, I don't want to be responsible for that. So the social norms still need to be changed. The underage drinking is still an issue. I think the pill thing is still an issue, prescription pills. But that's mostly what we're seeing in the marijuana, of course. It's always the alcohol and the marijuana. The crack's still out there, but I'm not seeing as much of that.
Yeah. Well, when you look and you see the problems that you see, and like we heard from Salandy, Lieutenant Salandy earlier, and what can we do better as a public safety committee and a county commission as far as communication between all these different entities? You know, we mentioned the exchange club that could help, and I know Salandy will be pretty assertive trying to get help, and I know the mayor will too. But what advice could you give us that we could do? We could
Well,
do
I think
this
be
a little bit
involved,
better.
because all of us outside of this room are involved. You know, Mr. Salandy and I have known each other for years, and we've often talked about different programs. Lieutenant Cope over at the jail, he and I are always trying to talk about collaborating on stuff. CADCOR is excellent about getting all kinds of different people together, not just the anti-drug people, but Read to Succeed and a lot of people over at the Guidance Center. Captain Boyd with the Laverne Police Department, is that correct?
Ted Boyd.
Okay, he has just joined that coalition. I think if any of you wanted to join that coalition, because CADCOR's actually collaborating with a lot of us to do different things. Our DUI court just recently volunteered an event over at the Boys and Girls Club that was also sponsored by CADCOR, just to have an alcohol-free night for the kids, and had bands there and everything. That was free, you know. And they needed our people just to chaperone and what have you. We did the Pill Back event last year where we asked people to bring their prescription pills that were out of date and turn those in because they need to be incinerated. They don't need to go into the public water system. They're finding that all these prescription pills are affecting our water system. So we're all a little bit drugged, I think, because of that. You know, and I don't know what our water system is, but I know in some water systems they have tested it and actually found things like Loratabs and Xanax and things like that. So we might all be a little sedated. I don't know. Well, maybe not enough with all the stuff going on lately. But anyway, so those types of things. CADCOR is just really out there trying to get the word out, and Karen's going to love me for doing this commercial for her tonight, but
Well,
it's a good organization.
If you look and you've got, say the workhouse, for example. I mean, you've got people in there, a lot of them, probably 50, I don't know what the percentage, but I'd say a great percentage would be drug alcohol problem.
Sure,
I mean, you've got a group of people already there, you've got classroom space. What is being done with the workhouse as far as you've got an attentive group right there that can't do anything.
Right.
What are you doing there?
Well, they've actually got 2 employees that they got through a grant, and they're doing a program called Life Anew, and it is a drug education program and a relapse prevention program. They're also working with life skills, financial management, parenting. The Boys and Girls Club has even got a grant for mentoring the kids of incarcerated parents. I just read a grant today that is all about helping families stay united while one of the parents is incarcerated. That looked really, really interesting to me, that I was actually going to talk with either Mr. Salandy or Mr. Cope about. So there's a lot of things going on. Everybody's got their little niche, and more of us are trying to get together to complement each other. In fact, there is a collaboration specifically for reentry programs in the jail that I think we're meeting again in May. So there's a lot going on in the community at the grassroots level.
Okay.
There really is.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Anybody
Thank
else?
you for asking.
All right, have we got a motion? Entertain a motion on her report.
Motion to approve the report.
Do I have a second? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Now, I have some questions for you guys.
Okay.
Or maybe it's the mayor, I'm not sure. I just found this on the internet today. It's an Edward Byrne Memorial grant, JAG grant. Drug Courts qualifies for this, but I'm wondering if this is the local solicitation for the counties and the cities where you all get your equipment every year, or is this something?
No.
You don't know? Because if not, I would like to apply for that. And it doesn't really say how much, it says it depends on how much of the formula goes to each region.
Yeah.
So that's why I was wondering if maybe it was that grant that comes through
No,
every
that
year.
JAG grant usually is split, I mean, I think the cities and the
Right.
county all do a
Right,
equipment.
but I'm not sure if it's that one or another one.
It's
Do
pretty
you all have to
specific
apply
on
for
what
that
those
every year?
grants are, though.
Yeah.
Is
Ours
it?
are pretty specific.
Well, why don't you guys just authorize Mrs. Snyder and the mayor to review this, and if this is applicable to her program, give us authorization to apply for the grant.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Second. And a second. All right, discussion.
Is that a 25% match on the?
No, there's no grant with this one. I mean, no match with this one.
Okay.
Like usually on those, there's no match.
See, I'm thinking that's what it is, but I'm just not sure. So we'll look at it. Also, I'm sorry.
I mean, I need to vote on it.
Okay.
Got a motion and a second. Any more discussion on the motion on the floor? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, okay.
Tomorrow is the deadline for this grant. It's the Family Treatment Court grant, which we did before for about a year. This is, again, a 3-year grant. I'm applying for it. Number one, we absolutely love doing the program. Number two, it'll bring new money back into my program for the next 3 years, which I desperately need, as you all know. But it is a good program. So this is due tomorrow. It does have a match, but I can use the building as the match and part of my salary. I think 1/4 of my salary I can use to meet the match. So it's I want to say over $300,000 of new money that would come in over the next 3 years, a little over $100,000 a year. So.
Now, who's this grant with?
This is with the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention.
I'll make a motion that we approve her applying for the grant.
Okay, thank
So it'll
you.
come back to us. but-
Yeah, yeah.
So,
It won't, I won't know until probably September.
I got a motion and got a second for her to apply for this grant. All right, discussion. Hearing, seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much, I appreciate it.
Wheel tax officer report. Mark?
You want me to take a copy of that, or?
Well, keep it fade.
Okay. Okay, I will do that. Thank you very much.
Well, that's the first time in a good while I've come up here and said I have some good things to tell you, so
All right.
I don't want you to get too excited about it. Had a thing, questions asked on the Little Bighorn report. I've gone to spending some more time at the convenience centers, kind of working with Mac Nolan there on, it seems easy to find people there that bringing trash to us. That helps me, but registration, wheel tax, and plus we don't want the trash from some other county, because we're not benefiting from that county. But I'll take Mr. Schaefer's Sand Hill down here. It was, of course, he's right there on the line. He gets a lot out of Davidson County, you know. And Mac, and then we put up a sheet that kind of tells you what you bring in and what you can't bring, and size, and you know, there's no animals, nothing like that. And Mac is first thing leaves, and I kind of tied this in with mine. And and I just go down there and sit and get out, and just, the car comes in, I see something don't even look like, I'll give them this sheet. Well, I didn't know you could bring that, you know, couldn't bring that, you know. Kind of make it more awareness. The schools, of course, in the schools, still getting a few. I think we've had a pretty good year of that. We're going to change the, a little bit the way we do it, by same way, doing it the same way, but we're going to add license plate numbers. That's what makes it simpler for the ladies at the office to run the tags and stuff.
These ones here at the school, that's the schools that turned into you?
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Mhm.
I'm glad, I mean, the people at the schools are doing
Yes,
a
yes,
good
yes,
job
they
at
are,
that.
yes, they are. I have to.
They ought to be commended.
They sure do. Like I said, and I think we'll start out here first, when we get started back again, we'll have to change this, and I hope it continues and gets better. Put this brought some in. On the motor vehicle report there, you see all increases. But don't, like I said, don't get too excited. March is the best month for motor vehicle offers out of the 12 months. The Nissan reimbursement there, and I honestly don't think if our office and the mayor hadn't got onto that, we wouldn't be seeing this money. You know.
We're gonna be getting any more of it?
Oh, yeah, yes. Of course, there, that's just January's and February's, and the $72,737.15 is figured in with Nissans in this, but of course, we're losing $2.50, but we're not handling it to them, so, but you know, we're gaining our $50 what we, like I said, their business seems to, has picked up some, selling cars and moving cars, you know, and of course, that helps us, you know. I hope it continues, but like I said, March is a big month for the motor vehicle office because all commercial tags used to be in March. Now they're not, so, but it's still a very strong month for us, you know. That's all I have.
Any questions for Bart? I'm hearing or seeing none, entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Anything else?
Anybody that hadn't been down to the New Smyrna office needs to come by. Look, we got a nice facility down there in the office. It's made it nice for us, you know. It's accommodating, and the admission is right there by. I think it makes it very handy for the public. I'd like to have you come by and see if you hadn't been there. Thank y'all.
Appreciate it. Juvenile detention report. How you doing?
Doing well, how are you?
Doing good.
All right, in front of you, you have the monthly report for March. Nothing incredibly unusual. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. You'll see at the bottom that we've got some money that we're still waiting on. It's just from 2 counties. It's nothing unusual. We usually have this meeting before we get them checks in the mail.
Nothing to be alarmed about.
Yes, sir.
Any questions for Ms. Duke on her report? Hearing and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. I think you got a budget amendment.
I do, and I apologize for not getting that on the agenda before tonight. What you see in front of you is that I'd like to move around a little more than $3,400. This is all money that is from within our budget, so it's no new money. I need to take $3,442 from my attendance line item, and that's just a fancy word for detention officers. And I need to split that between a guards line item, which is corporals, and my overtime pay. I have one employee who I need to pay down her comp time by half, and that should take care of that issue for the end of the year. And the extra money that is available in that line item, the first line item, the attendance, is just because of turnover that we've had.
Okay, you've heard the request. What's the will of the committee?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion and got a second. Any discussion? Hearing or seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner Daniel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparks?
Yes.
Commissioner Farley?
Yes. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. OSHA report, and I believe you've got that in front of you as well. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. Work's a little sore, so if you'll excuse me. As you can see here, for the month of March, we had 20 injuries requiring medical attention for accident-related for the year-to-date. And then remind you that this is for a OSHA year, which is January the 1st through this month, March was the first 3 months. We've had a total of 64. Total recordables for OSHA is 37. 10 of those had restricted days. 10 also had loss claim days. And then there were 17 others. The next page kind of gives you a graphic depiction of where we are. We are up slightly from last year at this time. The total dollars incurred for the month of March was $41,087. Those claims break down for the county. 14 of them were in the county. The total dollars incurred was $24,171. And the Board of Education had 6 claims for just under $17,000.
Any questions? Hearing or seeing none, I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Anything else?
I have nothing else, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other business to come before the committee tonight?
Question.
All right.
Good. In June, the fourth Monday is the 28th, which isn't that the day that we're setting our budget?
We'll have to,
Are we going to change it, or?
Vic usually gets with me and we have to change it. It'll probably moved up. Not sure yet what the date will be, but we have to move that up. That way, if we have something come up, we'll be prepared to do it for that day where we'll be meeting for the budget.
Okay.
Not sure yet.
Gary wanted to ask, I was just talking to Mary just now, but to see if maybe CADCOR could do a presentation at next Public Safety Committee meeting. She said that she thought they'd be happy to. But, I was asking about the drug problem with her. She was telling me that a study that she's seen here recently, that I think it was 25% of 10-year-olds had tried marijuana. Of 10-year-olds. So this problem is getting worse. And I'd just like to see a presentation from this group and just see what else could be done. And she felt that DARE really wasn't that effective, and there's really not that much being done. I mean, Rick, do you know some things that's being done in the school system I know you had DARE.
You got DARE for 5th grade, but you never see it again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then there's the grade program, and I think the SROs have a different acronym for another class that they're doing, but there's really not anything that hits past 5th grade, basically.
I mean, she was telling me, she said, you need to start these kids in the 3rd grade. I mean, if they're trying marijuana at 10 years old, you need to try to get to them before that, but.
I don't see a whole lot of that, I'll be honest with you.
You don't?
At that age now, but our middle school and high school, becoming more.
Yeah. Well, we'll try.
I mean, I'd be more glad to
Yeah.
put them on the agenda. I mean, would you mind
I
calling
told her
them?
I'd call her after the meeting.
If you'll call them and set it up,
Okay.
I'd be more glad to put them on the agenda for next,
Yeah.
um,
But I was asking her about the classroom space that we've got over there, Mayor, at the workhouse, and she said, you know, that she'd be glad to be able to do something over there, maybe interact with some of those inmates and try to see if there's not something they could do to try to talk to these inmates, or maybe put on a class or something.
Feel free for CADCOR, Mary, whoever wants to go out there and give
Okay.
a superintendent.
Okay. Well, I'll call her, we can get on the agenda for next month, yeah.
matter of fact, I saved, probably Karen Cloud or Richard Watson. I know Richard Watson. But I'd be more glad to put them on
Okay.
the agenda.
All right. All right, I'll call her, appreciate it.
All right. Anybody else, any other business? If not, Mary, you got anything?
No, sir.
All right. All right, we stand adjourned. Thank y'all.